Nick Coscia. We're out here at the Aqua Turf, and I have with me here Steve and Jacaruso.
Hello, how are you?
Very good, Steve. And who else do I have here?
Gail Golden.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? And Steve, what do you do? What's going on at the event here this evening?
Tonight is an event, gala, to raise money for the emergency room unit at St. Mary's Hospital. I'm a graphic designer for my own firm, Grid, which is based in Woodbury. And I was contacted by Pam Monahan, who also decorated for this beautiful event. And she wanted me to get involved with designing the invitation. Pam Monahan, Jackie Carroll, and Warren Saracen and myself got together and went over a few concepts and came up with the invitation for the event.
Well, you say this is for St. Mary's Hospital emergency room. How do you feel this event or the monies are going to help the emergency room?
Well, I think it will enable patrons of the emergency room to be admitted with less hassle and just a more comfortable work environment.
Gail, what's your involvement? What's your involvement?
Well, as Stephen said, he's on the committee, and I am here with Stephen tonight.
So you're here supporting Stephen this evening on the event, and I understand we're going to have over 800 people here this evening.
Say.
Checking the doorways now, and we're waiting for more and more people to come in. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Steve?
No, that's about it. Just getting ready to have a good time tonight and to enjoy the festivities. Hopefully bid on some of the items that are up for auction. And that's about it.
Okay, we'll be back with you shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We're back here at the Aqua Turf, and I have Joe Petrus here with me. Joe, how are you?
Good. Nick, good to be here this evening as president of the Exchange Club. We have come here this evening with many exchange-ites, I think more than a dozen or so, to support St. Mary's Hospital. Most recently, we've just finalized the agreement between the hospital and the 4 exchange clubs that surround the greater Waterbury area. We've come together with Cheshire, Nautic, Wolcott, and Waterbury to fund the Child Abuse Prevention Center at St. Mary's Hospital.
Joe, you've been involved in a lot of things, and I've been in a lot of places where you've been involved with all these things. And boy, this is the type of thing we need to bring Waterbury back together and pull back together. And this involvement with St. Mary's Hospital here tonight, there's over 800 people here tonight.
Yeah, I was told earlier this week that they expected about 900, and there was 60 people that paid for tickets but couldn't come, and they were kind of glad that that happened. But yeah, you know, these are the kind of things that make a community a community. I was talking earlier with you, Nick, about what happened earlier last week was the first time that 5 presidents from the 5 most prestigious clubs in the city, the Lions, the Rotary, the Unit Club, the Exchange, all came together to sit down for one common cause, to see what we can do to make Waterbury a better place for the people that are a little bit less fortunate. And most of the members of our organizations are businessmen and women in all walks of life that have kind of made it and are settled in their lives and are in a position now to start giving back to their community. And in our meeting, it was discussed that we're going to come together 3 or 4 times a year now to see what we can do to make Waterbury a better place for all of us.
This is what I'm trying to do through the media, Joe. You notice I've been out there a lot with the cameras and everything else. And if you use the media in the right way, and you use it in a positive aspect, and people see the good things, and the kids see the good things, they're going to say, hey, Waterbury is a good town to come to. And let's get all these ethics backgrounds and everybody to start working together. And let's start burying the past and say, let's think about the future, because we don't know what's down the road.
You know what's funny, Nick? Your program and the programs on local cable access are the only programs that are providing us with the positive. We get that soundbite 3 or 4 minutes every night about the negatives of all of our communities, not just Waterbury, but the whole state and the whole country. And, you know, there's like, if you had 100 apples in the barrel and there was one that was bad, that's the one that gets all the PR. And every community is just like that. There are 102,000 people, I think, in Waterbury. And look, if there's 2,000 bad people, why should they get the front page? Why should they get the soundbite on Channel 8 or Channel 3? What about all the good things that are going on in our communities through the synagogues, the churches, the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, Exchange Club, Rotary, Lions, Unica Club, all the community clubs in town, Nick, that you've been covering for many years now. Those are the people that are really the community. Those are the heart and soul that make Waterbury what it is, a great town to live in. My family's been here for 5 generations, and we're buying new homes in Waterbury for our children are living here. We're not moving out. We're not being scared away because of what people say. Waterbury's a great place, and we have to, like you said, Nick, we all have to pull together to make sure that Waterbury, the positive things that are happening in Waterbury in the high schools, in the grammar schools, even in the preschools, the kids are doing great things, but you only hear about that 1 or 2 poison pills that spoil for everyone. If we could put those poison pills on the back burner for a day or two and put all the kids that are doing great on the front page, that's what we should be doing.
That's my goal. In other words, like you said before, there's more good people in this town than bad people. And the examples, I think, have got to be set at the top. Through the administration that's in office, through the police, the fire, and I always stress this so much because people are always watching. The example has got to be set in the community by us grown-ups, not by the kids. The kids are watching us. And if we love each other and we care for each other, which is going to be very hard for all of us to get along in the community, but at least we certainly can try. We shouldn't have to wait till a disaster happens, Joe.
Exactly. 17 or 18 months ago when we sat down and decided to form this relationship with St. Mary's Hospital, we were hoping for a 24-member board of directors for the foundation. We have like almost close to 40 people that are on our board of directors now, and people calling us because the problem is so immense in child abuse, and it's not just restricted to Waterbury. It's Cheshire, it's Naugatuck, it's Washington, Connecticut. It's all over. And St. Mary's Hospital is in the forefront of serving all of these towns, and then some. And the people come from every walk of life to sit on our board of directors that want to eradicate this problem. We can't do much, Nick, for the children that are already been abused, but we could do something for the children that might be abused. And that's our goal, to identify potential child abuse and to intervene at St. Mary's Hospital in the lives of these people and provide services and, most important, provide love from the community that we care and we want our children who are our treasures to be protected. And the Exchange Club of both Naugatuck, Waterbury, Cheshire, Naugatuck, and the community as a whole is going to do every single thing in its power to help St. Mary's Hospital provide this program.
Very good, Joe. And also, if you would like to, you can mention the presidents, some of the other people that are helping you out, too, if you don't mind mentioning some of their names.
I don't. Tuck Alicine is the president of the Naugatuck Club, and Andy Fava is the president of the Cheshire Club. I'm trying to think of the president of the Wilkie Club right now. His name escapes my mind. It's Gary Parenti. And, these guys are just like you and I, Nick. They go to work every day. They try to support their family, but they see the bigger need. And they're here to provide what maybe somebody else can't. And that's the big thing is that we're providing is the dollars. But I think the bigger thing that we're providing is that we're letting people know that we care. And sometimes a hug is worth more than a $10 bill. And I've had an opportunity in the last year or so to meet some of the children that we're servicing, some of the families that we're servicing. And let me say, Nick, that they are on the road to recovery. We have 400 families in one of our programs, and they're doing wonderful. And we're there. We're providing Christmas and Easter baskets. Nick, you didn't have to look far for your children to come down on Easter morning to find their baskets. Well, some children don't find the basket. And so that we're stepping forward and saying, how many baskets does St. Mary's Hospital need? 400 to take care of their children? We're providing that. Christmas presents, we're providing that. A trip to Coscia this summer. God rest the soul of George Francis, who was one of the greatest exchange-ites ever. He's provided Lake Coscia for us to bring our kids to. And we brought them last year, and it was a wonderful experience. And back to school, we're helping the kids, and whatever little things crop up. But that's
Joe, you're certainly
about.
And you're certainly trying to give back to Waterbury, and even myself, I want to give back to the community. When I retired at 55 years old, I wonder what I was going to do with the rest of my life. And I says, why not stay in my hometown and help the people that are needy? I have a 90-year-old dad and an 85-year-old mother. I'm not going anywhere. You know what I mean?
Well, unfortunately, my parents are gone now, but I have a beautiful, my in-laws are just like the best people in the world. They treat me like their own son. And right, I'm not going anywhere. My daughter has a home here now. My other daughter just bought a home, and my son now is buying a home here in Waterbury. And we're staying. We're not leaving. No one's going to drive us away. This is our city. This is our town. We love it. We love the people. Put politics aside. Put all the other stuff aside. And let's go into our neighborhoods and find out we have a lot of great people.
Very good, Joe. Maybe you'd like to make some strong closing comments to the audience here on some of the things you want to share or good examples.
All I want to say is that the Exchange Club is here to provide services for our community. We look forward to your support in helping us provide those services. We have an upcoming wine tasting that Nick filmed last year for us at Shakers. We hope to raise $10,000 that night to put the money into child abuse prevention. And if anyone wants to pitch in, just don't hesitate to call me or call the hospital Child Abuse Prevention Center, and we'll be glad to have you.
Thank you very much, Joe.
Thank you. It's a great evening here at the Aqua Turf tonight. Some 900 people all having a good time for one common goal, and that's Waterbury.
Yep, love each other. Thank you. Here at the Aqua Turf, and I have Vincent Grasso here with me.
Hello.
And Marianne.
Good evening.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Tell us a little bit about what's going on here this evening and what you're doing here.
I'm Dr. Vincent Grasso from Yale University. This is Miss Marianne Durkin. We work together at the NASA Yale Commercial Space Center. And Dr. Dudrick, who's the chairman of the Department of Surgery at the hospital, invited us to the function this evening.
That's quite interesting. You say you're from the NASA Research Center? We have an astronaut in Waterbury, Connecticut. Did you ever run across him?
What's his name?
Let's see, Ralph Mastracchio. Sounds
like somebody we should invite down to our office.
Yeah.
His son, actually, I don't know if it's Ralph. I probably said the name wrong. But we did a little show on the astronauts a few months back. Anyway, tell the viewing audience a little bit about yourself. And
Well, we're working at a newly created space center at Yale University. And the most up-to-date project that we have is we're going to Mount Everest April and May. And we're working together on the NASA Yale Mount Everest expedition, and we'll be taking care of climbers at Mount Everest. So that should be an interesting project.
So you want to tell a little bit about your support?
My support is I've worked with Dr. Stanley Dudrick for a number of years, starting in Philadelphia. We've traveled together, and I ended up here in Waterbury with him. So he was kind enough to invite us to the St. Mary's party. I worked at St. Mary's for 3 years, and I'm just here to support the hospital. It's a wonderful event, and very good thing happening here tonight.
It is a very good thing, and it's nice. It's a very positive thing here this evening, and it shows that we should all start pulling and working together. And for the people that couldn't come here this evening, at least they can see that there's a lot of people who are supporting this event. Maybe you can give the viewing audience some closing comments, what type of support they can give, or some of the things you can give them as examples.
Miss Marianne, you would know best about how they can possibly send in donations or support through the volunteer office.
Well, I believe there's the St. Mary's Foundation, which runs this, and I'm sure they're always open for donations or time or any kind of effort anybody's willing to give. Sister Marguerite Waite, the president, I'm sure would be interested in meeting anybody who wants to help. She's a wonderful lady and does a great job at St. Mary's.
And if anybody in the viewing audience out there would like to meet you, any one of you two, how would they get in touch with you?
Well, they can call us at 203-764-9060 and ask for myself, Dr. Grasso, or Miss Marianne Durkin, and they can work with us maybe at the NASA Center.
That's very good. And where are you located again?
40 Temple Street in New Haven.
So you think Waterbury's going to turn around? You think we really are the center of the universe, like the governor says? I mean, tonight, we're down in Southington tonight.
Looks like...
Not Waterbury tonight, we're in Southington.
All this support, it looks like it's all coming from Waterbury. So
We have a lot of Waterburyans here this evening. So you want to make some closing comments?
We're here to enjoy the evening and give support to the hospital and hope that the viewers support the hospital. It's a good hospital and moving forward.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll be back shortly.
Thank you.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, I have with me here Mr. Timothy Upson and his wife, Kathy. How you doing?
Very good.
Timmy, tell us a little bit about what's going on here this evening. What are you doing here?
Well, contributing money to St. Mary's Hospital and honoring my wife who works for St. Mary's Hospital. We were here last year, And I think it's fantastic, first of all, that both hospitals are getting along, one, but two, that St. Mary's has this event as a fundraising unit and for all its worthy projects and new additions and new equipment.
And Kathy, you're supporting Timothy in this thing, and what do you do?
I'm a nurse at St. Mary's. Right now I'm a case manager, and I've been at St. Mary's for 12 years.
So how's this event going to help the hospital?
Well, they're raising money tonight for...
The emergency room?
Is it the emergency room? Last year they did a great job raising money, and I think they expect to do just as well this year.
So by raising the money for the emergency room, does this mean we're going to put more things in the emergency room? It's going to make the emergency room better? What's it going to do?
Well, I expect it will make the emergency room better or have more up-to-date equipment. Everything changes so fast in healthcare. You always have to keep buying new things. And
now that's a nerve.
It's like politics.
Just like politics.
And computer science.
Now you struck a nerve there when you said healthcare. And that really bothers me because I just turned 60 a couple of weeks ago.
Look it.
Well, thanks a lot, Tim.
I'm 56.
You're looking great. Anyway, the bottom line is this, is that really struck a nerve with me because I'm 60 years old now. When I get 65, the government's not going to take care of me, so I got to take care of me and my family in health care and provide for my family so we can stay above ground a little bit longer. Tim, what do you think about that?
Well, you're probably right. They are cutting back. They're not cutting back necessarily in Social Security, but they're forcing people to get an HMOs. Now, you know more about it than I do, Kathy, but HMOs, and then every HMO has a different service, and every HMO has, different deductibles, and people are not aware of what they're getting into, and you add to that or take away from what I said.
Well, why don't you tell the viewing audience a little bit about what they should watch out for or how you can help them out or some suggestions?
well, the big push in the last few years has been to save money and to manage costs.
And to move people out of hospitals.
And unfortunately, sometimes care falls by the wayside because cost becomes the more important part of it. And I think we have to bring the pendulum back where care is the primary issue and cost is not. Right now there is a big push, especially for patients on Medicare, to sign up with managed care companies. And people have to be very careful to scrutinize what they're signing on to. It might look good on paper, but there's a lot that'll happen. And if you do get sick, suddenly you realize having choices is very important. And you don't think about it so much when you're not paying maybe co-pays or as much per month for your secondary plan. But then losing choice of where you might have to go for nursing home care or what physician you can have, it makes a big difference to people.
And you sign up hoping, let's say you want to get, of course we have the CONPACE program, so people who are on fixed incomes, low incomes, don't have to pay for their drugs, but the ones that don't or do have to pay for their drugs go to a policy that allows them to get some of their drugs paid for, but may not pay for something else that they need. So
well, there you go. Now you just struck another nerve with me, because if the drugs, you got prescription drugs and everything else. Personally, myself, I'm not on any drugs at all or any prescription.
You don't sound like you're on drugs.
I kind of cure myself with alternative medicine, with the vitamins, the minerals, and the herbs and everything.
That's right.
But unfortunately, there's no room in the insurance industry to support natural medicine. Now, that's a little bit unfair.
Well, luckily, a lot of the natural medicines, the supplements, aren't as expensive as prescription medicine. I can kind of understand it. I mean, prescription medicine has to go through a lot of trials, a lot of study before it's out on the market, and that's very costly to do.
And that's why we give them monopoly once they develop a new medicine. 10 years, I think it is, they can charge what they want to charge.
Well, the natural medicines that I'm talking about is the garlic, the parsley, the onions, the owe, our grandmothers and grandmothers cooked, and all they're doing is now they're putting that into tablet form. CQ10, grapeseed extract. Grapeseed extract is the seeds from the grapes that we used to throw away, me and my father. Now they're selling it in a vitamin store for about $40 a bottle. Now, how is somebody going to support with a family of four? It's kind of in a way taking their rights away on how they want to cure themselves.
Well, I do know that some policies, now you're talking about real natural things like buying garlic and raw garlic, et cetera, right? But Kathy's told me, by the way, Kathy was Nurse of the Year of the state of Connecticut in 1990.
You were. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So humble. Look at
it. Only one is, she just pinched me for saying only one is chosen for a year from the state. So, but anyway, but she does believe in some.
That was before I knew Tim.
But, oh, wait a minute, he's taking, whoops.
Okay. Oh, they're taking Timmy's drink.
Yeah, they're taking my drink away.
Jesus. Never take an Irishman's drink. You know he ain't Italian.
How do we end this?
Tim, you better make some good closing comments for the
I
viewing
apologize for.
Well, they're watching you out there, Tim. Get open. And we just started the night.
We bought a drink for the evening, and the waiter just took it out and threw it away. Oh, we're talking. See what you did? Yeah. No, I shouldn't kid around, but I think healthcare is probably obviously the biggest thing that faces everybody, no matter what age, in the valley, and both Waterbury Hospital and St. Mary's take care of all the valley. So I'm here to honor St. Mary's tonight, and I'm very pleased to be part of it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Here we are. We're back again with Bob Generali and his wife, Denise. How you doing, folks?
Good, Nick. Very good. Thank you.
We're having a great time. Yes?
What do you think about the event here tonight?
Oh, it's wonderful. We can't believe the entertainment. Everyone's here. It's a great event for a great cause.
Well, the last event we were out down the Armory, you guys were was a good cause down there too.
Yeah, the mayor's ball.
But now tonight, this is something special. This is for the emergency room at St. Mary's Hospital, and hopefully that they get enough funds so that we can get a better emergency room in Waterbury. What do you think, Bob?
Hey, what a better cause than the hospital. You know, it's vital in the city of Waterbury. You know, everybody needs a hospital at one time or another, and you know, we're just happy to support it. You know, there's a lot of fine people out here to support the hospital, and you know, it's a cause that needs support.
Bob, I hope you stop growing. I remember when you were only half of my size.
Nick, you're all right. I'm going to hire you as my publicity director. You do a great job, Nick.
Well, we helped your brother out last night with the basketball game. Yeah. We were out there with Mike Bruce, Andy Mashaw, Tom Carroza Jr., Jared Hayes, and we had quite a team out there working together, you know, and bringing the community's activities. It's very, very important.
Yeah, Andy and Copes mentioned you a couple of times. Said Nick Coscia is the one working on the camera over there. But I tell you, that's great too. If you can't make it to a game, you can watch it on TV. You know, what's better than that? You know, you cover all the special events that are being held in the city, the fundraisers. You know, it's free publicity for the hospital. You're doing a great thing for the city, Nick.
Thank you very much. Well, you know, I feel 60 years young by doing it. Come on, young lady. You're going to talk a little more tonight.
That's right.
What do you want to say? Say a few more things. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do?
Okay, I work at St. Mary's Hospital, so I'm thrilled to be here and to be part of this fundraiser for the emergency department. Yeah, it's a great turnout.
What do you do at the hospital?
I'm a RN, and I work in labor and delivery.
Well, for the viewing audience who just turned in, tell them your name again and you're an RN and what you do at the hospital.
I'm sorry, what? What did you say? I didn't hear you.
No, tell the viewing audience your name. I know it's a little loud in the background there.
They're partying, Nick. They're partying.
They're partying in the background, but we can hear up front here. Tell the viewing audience a little bit about yourself, your name, and you're a registered nurse, because we couldn't hear it the last time.
Oh, what's it
Well, I'm Denise Generali. We're newly married. We're newlywed since December. And we live up in the East Mountain section of Waterbury. And I support my husband working at the Boys Club. He does a great job. And I work the third shift at St. Mary's. Love what I do. Love working along with the doctors in labor and delivery, bringing new life into the world. Love my job.
Boy, I tell you, if I ever end up in the hospital, I want to be in the hospital where she is. She's gorgeous, Bob.
Hey, I'll tell you, I love to support St. Mary's Hospital. You know, like I said, it's vital to the community. They do a great job. The people down there are caring. You know, they never turn anybody away. And, you know, it's just a nice affair tonight. I hope they really do well, make a lot of money, because, you know, take a little pressure off of the management of the hospital, keeping it going. And and being able to raise funds.
Well, do me a favor. Go on out there and get me some more friends that come on out here and interview.
I will.
I want to get as many interviews up here tonight to show that there's a lot of Waterbury people here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. And I hope everybody's not as shy as I am.
See you later.
See you
And
soon,
what are
Nick.
you drinking there? Wine?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you
Bye,
later.
Nick. Bye, Nick.
Back here with Mr. and Mrs. Conway. How you doing, Tom?
Fine, wonderful, pleasure to be with you. It's a wonderful evening tonight.
Isn't it a great night here, Tom?
Absolutely, I think that they sold over 900 tickets, and that's really it's a tremendous. It's really going to help the hospital, the emergency room at St. Mary's Hospital. So we're very happy to be here, myself and my wife. Something that is really be great for the community, and that's all that's all I have to say right now.
That's all you have to say. Come on, tell us. Come on, talk a little more to that viewing audience out there, Tommy.
Well,
What do you think about this event as far as how you said it's going to help the hospital and everything else? How do the people go about doing something like this to raise all these dollars and pull together in an event like this?
Yeah, well, of course, they have a chairman and a co-chairman and so forth, and they called me and asked me if I would be on the committee. I said absolutely, myself and my wife. She's a graduate from St. Mary's.
Well, let's hear a few words from you.
Well, I graduated in 1957, so it was 40 years last year.
So you're supporting, you're on the committee, right? And, I mean, you talk about the committee. What do you got to do on the committee to get this thing going?
Well, you got to try to sell some tickets and get more people involved if you can. All of us were on, Representative Georgia, Representative Beeman, Representative Hartley, Senator Upson, Senator Sommer.
Yeah, I just had Timmy on a little earlier.
Yeah,
he
right.
spilled his drink already.
Oh, did he?
Oh, somebody stole it on him.
Oh, right. No, but I think it's a great thing, and it's the only way that the hospital really needs the money. It's a nonprofit organization, so I think that's why we're here tonight, to help.
Well, that's what I'm here for tonight, to help support the community on public access so people will see the event like this. For the people that can't come here, they will see it on television, and they'll know that we are trying to do something for the community.
Right, absolutely. I mean, that's why we're here. And I think that, we weren't here last year. We couldn't make it, but this is our first, and we're very happy to be here.
Well, it's a sellout crowd here tonight, you know? You want to tell the viewing audience a little bit more about you in the hospital and some of the things you participate in?
Well, we had our reunion, our 40th reunion last year, and we had a good crowd that attended the 40th reunion. And
What are some of the things you think they might be building in the emergency room with the funds?
I understand that they're really going to upgrade it to make it much easier for the patients and so forth to come in. You know, it's an emergency, and that's what it is. So, I think that they'll probably give the patients much better one-on-one, between the doctor and the patient.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. and Mrs. Conway.
Right? Pleasure to be with you.
Okay, Don.
Always.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're back again, ladies and gentlemen. And here we got
Salim Nujaim. This is my wife, Linda. We're here, Nick, because St. Mary's Hospital is a very worthy cause. It's a great institution. It's a landmark in Waterbury. And supporting St. Mary's Hospital is supporting the community of the Waterbury area. So we are very pleased to be a part of this beautiful gathering. Many, many people are here because they believe in the mission of St. Mary's Hospital, and they believe in what St. Mary's Hospital has done for the community, not only in Waterbury, but the greater Waterbury area, to make people healthy, bring them back to health when they are ill, and also to employ several people in Waterbury and the Waterbury community. So it's a great organization, great institution, and it's really good to support it, and we are very pleased to be here. I can speak also on behalf of my wife.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
To do this thing for the emergency room, which is what most of the proceeds of this fundraiser is going to. They have a silent auction. They have many baskets donated by various individuals, and they have a large treasure chest that you buy tickets, you buy a key for to try to open and get the money for. But everything, of course, is for the betterment of our community and St. Mary's.
This is an unbelievable crowd here tonight, isn't it? And it's nice to see everybody supporting each other here because they care about someone else. They care about the emergency room at St. Mary's Hospital. And, you know, I see you at an awful lot of events, and you see me at a lot of events. And we're always trying to give back to the community. And I think that's what's so important. Maybe you can tell the people some of the other things that you do.
Well, the good thing about it, Nick, is we came early, and the nice thing about it is to see so many people and to shake hands with so many people. And these are the movers and the shakers in Waterbury. These are the people who really believe in Waterbury and work to really to improve the community, like the mall and all of the new projects that are coming, manufacturing in Waterbury and the Waterbury community. Many people don't know about the manufacturing environment and the manufacturing industry in Waterbury, because the service industry has really grown so nicely. However, everybody still thinks that manufacturing is like 1920s. You know, the old oil, you know, on your feet, the dirty floors. Manufacturing in Waterbury has become high technology, all automated equipment, all computerized machinery. So you have industry supporting service and service supporting manufacturing, and everybody supporting one another. So there are lots of things that are happening in Waterbury, and it's good for people to become involved, get active, do something. No matter what they want to do, but do something to support the community. Because you can't just go to work and come home and stay home all evening long and then go to work again. People will not enrich their career and their personality by doing that. They have to get involved and contribute and to put something back into the community, and that's when they can get something out of it. And we are trying to do just that, because we're doing it for our families and for our children and for our neighbors. And it's very important to do that. It's very important for people to be involved, to help one another and to support one another. And thank God for people such as yourself in the Waterbury community who really bring about the good things rather than always the bad things. You hear the bad stories, you don't hear the good stories. And thank God for people like yourself, Nick, who believe in the Waterbury community and believe in Waterbury.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that compliment. You know, I've interviewed all types of people, Republicans, Democrats, doctors, lawyers, insurance people, health people, manufacturers. And well, I'm just a regular guy, you know. I'm just a regular guy who worked 35 years at Northeast Utilities, retired from NU, and didn't know what I was going to do with the rest of my life. But I decided to go on to a new career, and this career is being a television talk show host. But I'm no different than anybody else. I'm still a regular working guy. I started digging ditches when I was 15 or 16 years old. And here I am at 60 years old, and all I want to do is give back to the community. And one of the best, most powerful ways to give back to the community is to use our television waves the right way, use them in a positive way. And let's start pulling together. And I keep saying this over and over again. Let's not wait till there's a disaster like California or Florida or Saudi St coming over and trying to blow us all away, and they're going to be shaking hands. It's going to be too late then.
Well, as I said, and I will repeat it again at the risk of being redundant, thank God for people like yourself who really keep the community together. The program that you do, those type of situations, people like yourself are the glue that keep our community together, and we are very proud of that. And we thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. You want to make some closing comments?
No, that was it. My husband said enough for both of us.
That was good. Thank you very much. Have a good time. Bye now. Here with Sister Marguerite Waite. How you doing, Sister?
I'm fine this evening. Thank you. How are you?
Oh, very good, thanks. Well, Sister, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on here this evening and how an event like this comes about?
Well, this evening we are participating in the 7th annual St. Mary's Gala. This is run by the St. Mary's Hospital Foundation Board, which is the fundraising arm for the hospital. And again, it's the 7th. We think there are about 856 people here. And I remember when we started with the first, and we had a couple hundred people. So it's grown. Our intention is to raise funds to improve hospital services to our community. So actually, this evening, all the funds will go to renovating the St. Mary's Hospital Emergency Department.
Well, that's the thing I want to talk about. Maybe you can give us the answer. What are you going to be doing in the emergency room department? What are some of the things you're going to renovate?
Okay. Well, the emergency room right now was really built in 1982, and the manner in which we treat patients is different today. We need to do more rapid response. We need to rearrange the traffic patterns. We need to enlarge the treatment rooms. We need to make more comfortable and more private waiting areas for our families. And we need to have other types of rooms when perhaps families need to grieve a bit and have their privacy. We need to put in some new instrumentation, so we need more space. And most of all, we need to move our trauma services closer to the front door.
Now that's interesting, because I was going to ask you, that was going to be my next question, is what is some of the most important things that go on in an emergency room?
Well, first of all, every person that walks into our emergency room, it's important, because if we don't think it is, they do. But certainly our trauma victims, who may be in a situation of life or death, need absolute immediate attention. And at this time, we have a wonderful trauma section in the emergency room, but it's midway into the department. So we need to move that right up inside the front door, so the minute the EMTs bring that patient to the emergency room, we can have a physician immediately accessible to start immediately to take care of that patient.
In Waterbury, what are some of your biggest emergency problems? Are they gunshot wounds? Are they heart attacks? Are they false alarms? I mean, I'm sure you get a lot of false alarms, too. And we don't want to encourage that at all.
No, we don't. We do have a significant number of cardiac problems, heart attacks, etc., because of the renowned cardiologists that work with us and because of the very efficient intensive care coronary care unit that we have. Also automobile accidents, and I think you've seen what's been happening on Interstate 84 lately. That's a concern. Sometimes it's a child that has a fall, or that may not be immediately serious, but because that child's had a fall, there's always a danger. So those are some of the major things we see. We do have difficulties in terms of gunshot wounds and other kinds of injuries.
How long have you been involved at the hospital, sister?
I've been at St. Mary's for 22 years, and I've been the Chief Executive Officer for the past 12 years.
And is most of your staff here tonight, or is most of the people that are on the committee?
People on the committee are here, employees are here, doctors are here, board members are here, corporation members, the business community, many of our consultants.
Would you like to name some of the members, just in case we don't get them all on the air tonight?
Well, first of all, attorney Steve Griffin and his wife Maureen are here, and Steve is the vice chairman of our board of directors. Dr. David DeRamo from St. Francis Hospital Medical Center with his wife Judy, they're here. Jeffrey Alexander and his wife, who has really guided us through the changes in the institution. He's one of our consulting attorneys. We have just many friends of the family, many of our employees, their wives and husbands, and wonderful. Everybody's here.
Well, maybe you can go out and get some of them to come back with us and get on the air, and we could talk to them a little bit. And again, sister, for some closing comments for the viewing audience that just tuned in, maybe you can tell them again who you are and what your position is at the hospital.
I'm Sister Marguerite Waite. I'm the President and Chief Executive Officer at St. Mary's Hospital, and we're here this evening to raise funds to care for our community more efficiently and to make our hospital the best it can be to serve the greater Waterbury region and the central Naugatuck Valley.
Thank you very much.
The opportunity.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back again. And who do I have with me here? Tony Bonato and his lovely wife, Mel.
Hey, Nick. Good, Nick. Good to see you.
It's been a long time since high school, Tone.
That's for sure.
What are you doing here tonight?
I'm here to help the cause and see what we can do for the hospital.
And it's a pretty good crowd here tonight, huh?
Excellent. Good crowd.
Tone, for the viewing audience that doesn't know you, what are you doing? What's your position? What's your business?
Well, I'm up at Tony's Auto Sales in Waterbury on Hamilton Avenue. I am a sales manager there at this point in time. And we've been there for a long time.
Mel, you and I are going to get together and do a few projects, but what do you think about the event here tonight?
I think it's wonderful. I think it's a wonderful cause. I think we all need to be here to support it.
Mel Palladino and Tony Bonato are two of my old high school mates here. And here we are about 35, 40 years later. Thank God we're standing here to help out at this St. Mary's Gala event.
We haven't changed a bit.
Well, what else do you want to tell the viewing audience? Some closing comments.
Well, I just wish everybody good luck and good health. And
I would like to say that I hope the cause we're here for nobody will ever need.
Waterbury is getting bigger and bigger in this town, and we don't want any false alarms in that emergency room. We just want the right alarms going off so we can help the people out.
That's right. Thank you very much, Nick.
Mel, thank you.
thank you, Nick. Nice seeing you again.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have Morris Stein here with us. Morris, what's your position here this evening?
I'm chairman of the board ex officio with the Torrington Supply Company, and I am a good friend of St. Mary's Hospital, and both hospitals for that matter, and it's always a pleasure to come here at this annual event.
And what do you think of this event as far as supporting the hospital and the funds going toward the emergency room? Do you think it's going to help out the emergency room, make it a better place?
I sure think so. I think the more support St. Mary's Hospital gets and the Waterbury Hospital, that this will be a better community. And I've been happy to read lately that both hospitals are embarking on a new joint program in terms of cancer help. And I commend this effort, and I hope St. Mary's Hospital continues to have this annual, very successful event. I congratulate them.
Thank you very much. You mentioned both hospitals are going to be working together in cancer, and that's a very, very good thing. And once again, you want to tell the viewing audience who just tuned in who you are?
I'm Morris Stein, Torrington Supply Company, a member of the Waterbury community.
Thank you very much, sir. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, back at the Aqua Turf, and look who I got with me. Beautiful Linda Wibby. How you doing, Linda?
Hi, Nick. How are you tonight?
This is great. I mean, here we are in another ball. Well, this is something for everybody's health, everybody's emergency. And give the viewing audience a little bit of your opinion on what's going on here this evening.
Well, I've been coming here for a number of years, and this year I'm told there's over 800 people here attending in support of St. Mary's Hospital, a local community hospital that provides outstanding care within the city of Waterbury. And we're very fortunate here in Waterbury that we have two extraordinary hospitals in our city, Waterbury Hospital and St. Mary's Hospital. And tonight, as we all know, St. Mary's is a privately funded, for the most part, hospital, and they're doing fundraising, and they anticipate over $300,000 from tonight.
Well, this tape is going to be going all over the state, not just in the public access in Waterbury. So maybe you can tell some of the other people throughout the state who you are and what your position is in Waterbury.
Thank you, Nick. I'm an alderman for the city of Waterbury, but more importantly, my first and primary focus, in addition to the residents and citizens of Waterbury, is that I'm an attorney within the city of Waterbury. I live in Waterbury. I practice in Waterbury. I do a larger part of my practice is medical malpractice defense work. I represent doctors and facilities who've been sued by others for medical malpractice. So there's my connection with St. Mary's Hospital.
Very good, huh? What else do you do? What else do you do in the community to help the community?
Well, not only in attending, obviously, various events such as this, I'm an activist for the American Cancer Society, and we're having a gala coming up in July to support them. Also, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. So that takes care of smoking, drinking, and hospital care if I need it. And I think that's all my vices.
And not only that, Linda, once again tonight I'm going to have you go out there and get some more people so you can help me do some interviews, because there's 800 people here tonight. Right. And if we took 3 minutes a person, we'd have to be here all night to interview everybody. So let's go out there and get some people that are really concerned, would like to be on TV, tell the community what they feel about this new, in fact, I didn't even ask you yet. What do you think about this new emergency room?
I think it's fantastic.
You know some of the things they're going to be doing in there?
In the emergency room?
I mean, some of the new additions, yeah.
Well, there's going to be trauma. There's going to be doing trauma care level that is unprecedented, and it's consistent with what we've been expecting in the city of Waterbury. So there'll be less transports out of the city. We can handle it here within the city, which is a great benefit for those critical minutes that we need, those golden minutes that we need to treat here within the city.
And sooner or later, we got to get you and your dad on. We're going to start getting together.
As soon as he comes back from his vacation, we're going to do that. But what we should do tonight is get people on here and describe some of the bidding for the silent auction and the public auction, so that maybe we could raise a little bit more money for St. Mary's.
Very good, Linda.
Maybe we could do that.
Okay, so let's poke it out there and get some more people.
Okay, we'll do it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye, Nick.
Okay, we have here with us Roland Young. Roland, how are you?
I'm good.
Tell the viewing audience a little about yourself and what you're doing here this evening.
I'm having a good time. I'm very impressed. We got here about an hour ago, and right now I'm speaking in hushed tones because Sister Marguerite's behind us talking. And what do we have, about 850 of our closest friends here?
Well, they said 850, but the place has got over 850 now. The tables are all full, and there's people waiting in line to come on in.
Well, I mean, it's very impressive. I'm a healthcare lawyer, and we have an opportunity to be with a lot of clients in the course of the year, but my wife and I were reflecting a little while ago that this is the biggest turnout we've seen this year, and it's a very impressive turnout, and I'm expecting we're going to see some magic numbers tonight, numbers we haven't seen before.
You're a healthcare lawyer. Tell us a little bit about what type of a lawyer a healthcare lawyer is.
Well, healthcare is going through a lot of changes. You know, it's being redefined, if you will, and so we have an opportunity to work with the hospital when it has some special needs to assist it and guide it as opportunities come along in the future.
Well, you say healthcare, and I want to get into certain types of health. I'm personally, I don't take prescription drugs or anything else. I take alternative medicine, vitamins, minerals, herbs, and everything else to take care of myself. Do you feel that there should be two trains of thought on this issue?
First, you're very good at cross-examination. Now, I'm a litigator primarily, okay, and maintaining an open.
And I'm not even a lawyer.
But you're doing a good job, and you got the mic, and you got the control. This is good. Now, I mean, certainly an open mind as to various approaches to healthcare, okay? But clearly my heart is with the acute care hospitals here in Connecticut. And my heart goes out to St. Mary's because when I started my practice, as I said about 20 years ago, St. Mary's was one of my first 4 clients. That first year we picked up 4 clients, and someone named Sister Marguerite and some other people who were here at the time who are not here now took a chance on me. And it's been a great journey since then.
Okay, well, another question here. You talk about healthcare. What do you think some of the things that they should have in the emergency room, or what are some of the things they should improve on, or what do you think some of the most important things that happen that go on in the emergency room?
Well, improve on, I guess I couldn't comment to that, because I know they do a great job. Peter Jacoby does a fabulous job there. They've got some great resources, some great staff, but anytime you can take an event like this to upgrade it, and a lot of it's going to be cosmetic, as well as some machines that they'd love to have on site that they just can't have at the present, is going to enhance its visibility in the community and make that experience. We don't like to go to the emergency room. Nobody likes to go to the emergency room. But when you're there, you'd like to make it as pleasurable as an experience it can be, because you know it's going to provoke a lot of anxiety. And hopefully the people in Waterbury will feel better about, if they have to go to an emergency room, it'll be St. Mary's.
In the healthcare position or lawyer that you are, can you point out some of the most important cases that you've worked on, or you can tell a viewing audience that can help them out?
Well, what I work on really is no bearing to what actually they receive as a service, as a medical product when they come to the hospital. So really the focus is on what the hospital can provide as opposed to what I and many other people are doing behind the scenes as consultants.
Okay, because I just wanted to give them a general analysis of what you do and the type of thing that you provide.
Well, what we do, candidly, for the public might be a little boring. And we do a lot of regulatory work, a lot of contractual work. We help, now the hospital is a profession, healthcare is a profession, but you also need somebody who is going to help it run itself as a business as best it can. It's not for profit, but there's certain rules that have to be followed. And when things break down, there's certain people who have to be on the scenes to help it with those problems.
So as some closing comments, what are some of the things you'd like to leave with the viewing audience?
We're having a good time. And we haven't been here that long, and we're having a very good time. I mean, Hooray for Hollywood's been a good theme. I see a lot of excitement out here. People are ready to party, and it's nice to see them out. And the weather's been very cooperative based upon what we've had in past years.
And where are you from?
I'm in Avon right now, but I spent a lot of time in Waterbury, too. So I'd like to think that even though I don't live in Waterbury, I'm a part of it.
So you think our center of the universe is really going to turn around?
Yeah. I mean, you see it from the highway already. I mean, it's nice to see. You need those visuals. And just with the mall here on the highway, that's one thing. And the hospital's looking much better, too. So it's an exciting time.
Okay, for the viewing audience who just tuned in, you want to tell them once again who you are and what your position is?
I'm Roland Young. I'm a partner with the law firm of Bryan, Tansky & Young. And because of Sister Marguerite, we've had our journey with St. Mary's for about 20 years now.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay. Good.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the Aqua Turf, and we have three more people here, from left to right or right to left. Tell the viewing audience who you are.
I'm Pam Monahan from Waterbury, and I'm chairman of the decorations and invitations for tonight.
Pam, what else do you do here? What else? Are you on the committee too?
Yes, I was on the committee for the preparation of the gala.
Okay, so this is quite a activity going on here this evening. Tell the viewing audience some of your feeling and your opinion of what's happening here this evening.
I think it's marvelous. It's a terrific opportunity for the hospital to be highlighted, and it's a great way to have people come together. The interactive entertainment of Shazam is wonderful, and everybody here tonight is in for a great evening.
Do you have any particular thoughts or anything on your mind that comes to mind that might help the emergency room out, something that they should put in there that you might be able to think of? If not, you don't have to answer. Just something that came to my mind.
Nothing at the moment. I'm sure I'll think about it about 2 in the morning after everybody's closed.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm thinking. I'll tell you what some of the things I'm thinking of is things for people's hearts, especially people's hearts, because there's so many people out there today with so much stress and so much unhappiness that, you know, that heart pumps so much every day and every single day, and so many miles it's got on it that we all should try to pull our hearts together so that we don't need these heartmobiles coming to our homes as much as they do.
One of the things that the hospital is doing is the chest pain center that is a diagnosis that diagnoses heart attacks and heart problems. So people are diagnosed early and hopefully preventing the serious repercussions that happen.
So now we have another fine gentleman here. Tell the viewing audience who you are, sir.
I'm Senator Lou DeLuca from Woodbury, and I'm happy to be here this evening. I've been coming since the beginning. I think I've missed one in the 7 years, and it gets better every year, and this is the greatest one yet.
So, Senator, what do you think that this is going to do, this activity here, to help out the emergency room, not only the St. Mary's Hospital, but anywhere? Where people are giving back. They're giving back for a reason. What do you think the reason is?
Well, I think it's to help the community, because today there's so many people are using the emergency room for everyday service, and it's a big burden on the hospital. And they help many of the disadvantaged in Waterbury, and I think this helps them to provide that necessary service.
Well, it's a pretty good activity going on there this evening, huh?
I think it's great for the community to come together in a way like this and have a good time while you're helping out everybody. I think that's what's great about it.
That's the most important thing. Can't you just feel your heart relaxed and happy here this evening? Absolutely. And there's no other agenda here this evening but to help out the hospital and think of the poor and think of the sick and think how we can help our neighbors in our community out. Right. Maybe you can add a little more to that.
Well, I can't add much more because that's exactly what we're doing. We help, and I think that's significant. Today we hear about all the cities, all the problems in the cities. I think Waterbury is one of those cities that comes together, even though I don't live there. I live in suburban Waterbury, but it comes together. Waterbury still has its old neighborhoods, and they still have that provincial feeling and a community, and this shows it, I think.
And you know what I feel about Waterbury? It's a community that's coming together because it's a bunch of people, a lot of people that came from the old country and are still sticking together here. Whether you're Irish or Italian or German or French or whatever, this is one tight community, and people are learning to come together and start loving one another again.
That's right. And Waterbury is a good example of that.
And we have another gentleman here that wants to say a few words.
Hello, my name is Stephen Giacaruso. I'm from Grid, a graphic design studio in Woodbury. And I am on the committee, and I designed the invitations for tonight's event. And tonight's event really is for the people, the heart of the people, and anytime that comes along, I'm all for it.
Well, thank you very much again, ladies and gentlemen. Just make some quick closing comments to the audience.
Well, there's not much we can add to what we've already said. It's a great time for a great cause.
It helps everybody in the city, not just a select few. The hospital is for the entire community.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back here again with Mr. Jack Burke. How you doing, Jack?
I'm well. Good to be here.
This is great to see you here this evening. Jack, for the people that don't know you and never seen you here or on TV, I'm sure you've been on a lot of TV before, but tell the viewing audience exactly who you are and what your position is here this evening.
Well, currently I am Commissioner of Banking for the state of Connecticut and have been for the last 3 years. Prior to that, I spent most of my career in banking in the city of Waterbury. Very involved in the city. I was at Center Bank for a long time and ended up going into the state after the bank was sold after I left the bank. So I'm just happy to be here. I'm telling you, this is one wonderful affair. Couldn't be better. I mean, it just shows the community gets together and does this kind of thing that's so wonderful for a town that needs this kind of thing. Really happy to be here.
Is there anything particular that comes to your mind that you might think that the emergency room should add or add to it? You know, like I just told some people, asked some people ahead of you before they came out. We talk a little bit about heart. And, you know, there's so many things that go on, accidents or whatever. Maybe there's something that'll come to your mind that you might think that they could add and help out in the emergency room?
God, I really can't. I can't. I don't. I'm not. I am not an expert in that area, and I really don't know it. But I obviously things like the defibrillator now, which they're putting onto all airplanes, which I think is wonderful, should obviously be available. And other than that, it's really hard for me to say. It really is.
Yeah, I guess some of the questions I'm leading to is like, there's a lot of asthma, there's a lot of pollution, there's a lot of people getting elderly. I mean, it's not all heart attacks, it's gun wounds and different things of that nature. And I'm thinking in my mind, what are we going to be doing to improve this emergency room? Let's say we have 5 incidents that go into the emergency room, 5 different types of incidents. One's a heart attack, one is a gunshot wound, one is an asthma attack. I'm wondering how the facility is going to be split up.
I don't have any knowledge of that, but I'm assuming the way they're trying to raise the funds for this and to develop it, they must be responsive to the needs of the community. And I think the goal of St. Mary's is to make this a first-class emergency room operation, which has to cover all eventualities, right? And we got to compete, but you got to do the kind of things they might do in New York when you think of what you see, or even when you see them on TV, like New York.
Can you think of some of the other, or can you mention some of the other people that you might be here with this evening that may not necessarily come up for an interview that you would like to mention?
Well, gosh, that put me now. If I don't mention somebody, they're going to be mad.
Oh, no, you can't. There's 900 people here. You can't get them all.
I know. Well, I just wanted to mention someone who's very, very involved in the community, has been for years, and very positive. And his wife does a lot of work with St. Mary's, and that's probate judge Jim Lawler and his wife Peggy, who works for the hospital. And they both are so involved and so meaningful to Waterbury, and it's very helpful to them, really.
Yeah, and I've had Jim on interviews before too, and he's a very, very sincere person. And it's funny how you mentioned that name, because I just
have talk with him, and that's really the reason. So
I didn't even know you were going to mention him. I just mentioned him at the interviewed him at the inaugural ball, and he was very, very good and very responsive. So with some closing comments here, Mr. Burke, what are some of the things you would like to encourage your viewing audience or give back to the community, and some suggestions as far as health or whatever?
Let me tell you something. Jackie Carroll did this thing tonight. Jackie Hanratty Carroll. She did this program, and I think there is an example of the kind of involvement that Waterbury needs. I mean, it's a volunteer thing. She doesn't get paid for it. She works harder than anybody else. We just need more people to be involved. People sit back and have a tendency to not be involved. They'll let somebody else do it, and we need more of that. And that's what's going to make this city the way it really ought to be. I think the involvement of the community, and that's really what's important.
That's what we're doing here tonight. Myself and Gary Stengel here behind the cameras, we're here as volunteers, and young Gary goes to the schools here in Waterbury, and he's a young teenager out here helping me out this evening. And that's what it's all about. There's an awful lot of teenagers out there doing a lot of volunteer work in the city, and a lot of elderly people. And I'm retired from Northeast Utilities about 5 years ago, and that's all I've been doing since I retired, has been giving back to the city.
Yeah, great. That's wonderful. And that's so important. I wish there were more like it in town. That's going to make the difference. It really does.
What else do we have left but to enjoy our lives? And I'm not leaving Waterbury.
Me neither.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mr. Burke.
Sure, I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back here at the Aqua Turf with Mr. Bob Spanik and his wife, Jenny. How you doing, folks? Okay, you're going to tell the viewing audience a little bit about yourselves and what's going on here this evening.
Terrific. I'm the hospital's Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer, and here this evening to see the wonderful support for St. Mary's, a great turnout, and a great focus for our emergency department. So the proceeds tonight will go to help us to continue to keep a world-class emergency department.
Jenny, what's your position?
Wife and supporter.
So what do you think about this event here?
Spending his money.
You are? Don't, at least as long as you're not spending it in the emergency room. No. Now, I've asked a few other people some questions on the emergency room and some of the things that are going to be improving in the emergency room. And I've asked them, like, say 4 or 5 people went in there with different illnesses, heart attack, asthma, just pick 4 or 5 things. How do you think that it's going to be split up? Or is it split up and diversified for certain different emergency things that are going on?
That's a great question. We just recently created a whole new area in our emergency room. We call it the Emergency Decision Unit, where we have room now where we can have patients wait and go through their diagnostic testing over the next 23 hours from the time that they arrive at the emergency room. It has the look and feel of being actually admitted to the hospital. It's very quiet. It's brand new. It's very nice surroundings to be in. It's well staffed. It's got monitors for patients. So it's an opportunity for the patient to have all the technology available to them, to have the analysis and the evaluation done to determine do they really need to be in the hospital or are they able to be treated and to go back home. In addition to that, we'll be working to streamline and speed up the entry into the emergency department so you don't have to ask all those questions and the long delay to get in to see the physician. And once you're there, to get you treated and get you home as quickly as possible.
Well, that brings up another question to me. Once a person goes into the emergency room, there's always red tape and paperwork, their insurance and this, that, and that. Do you immediately respond to the patient, or are they looking for their records? I mean, I'm not making this a question of a derogatory thing. I'm trying to lead this question into immediate response.
Sure. Well, you're greeted now by a nurse in what we call a triage function, where the nurse can evaluate your condition, talk to you to see what is your problem. If you need immediate and emergency care, you'll go right back into a treatment room and see a physician. If you can wait, if it's not so urgent, we will have you wait until the next available room. So we're able to separate between those who absolutely need to see the physician right now. The other important thing to know about St. Mary's is that we've made information systems a top priority. We're computerizing all aspects of patient care. So we're able to take your information from you at the side of the treatment room. You don't have to wait out front and be processed through an admitting clerk. We'll get you to the room. We can go to your bedside with a tablet, collect all your information. It will be fed into our computers so that we don't delay you from the necessary care that you need.
Well, I'm thinking of the next question that I'm going to ask you. I'm going to get back to your pretty wife for a little bit. And I'm going to ask you what she does to support you and some of the things. You have children? Do you have a family? Do you stay home? What do you do?
We have 3 children. They are all teenagers at this point, 1 in college and 2 in high school. And I work as an executive assistant to a surgeon in Bristol, Connecticut.
Very good. Getting back to you, I was thinking about, like, what was the most important emergencies that probably happened in Waterbury? Is it heart attacks, gunshot wounds? If you don't know the answer, that's fine. I'm just thinking in my own mind. There's got to be one priority over the other.
Heart attacks continue to be, I think, the leading cause of emergencies that we're seeing. There's also a lot of trauma, a lot of automobile trauma, a lot of individuals who fall down their stairs and incur trauma, broken bones as a result of that. So heart attacks and various degrees of trauma. In the children, asthma is still a strong cause for people to come to the hospital for immediate care, to get their asthma under control, to get their breathing back under control, and so they can go home. So I think those 3 are really our predominant causes for emergencies.
And when you talk about improving the emergency room at the hospital, how about with the ambulances and the helicopter? In other words, from the time that a person is picked up to the time of the emergency room, that type of communication, is that communication building up to?
Absolutely. We have communication really from the field. When the ambulance arrives at the scene to evaluate someone and get them ready to be transported, they're in immediate communication with our physicians. They're in communication throughout the transport. If the helicopter is needed, it can be called on the scene to have it arrive there, or the helicopter can be waiting at the hospital so you can be stabilized and then placed on the helicopter to go to a tertiary facility. So in constant communication. Again, one of the wonders of the technology that we employ to ensure we're getting rapid response to people.
Well, it certainly sounds like a very comfortable place where I want to spend my elderly life. I just turned 60 years old 2 weeks ago, so I'd love to spend the next 60 years here in Waterbury. And for the people that just tuned in, maybe you can make some closing comments and identify yourself one more time.
Again, Bob Smanik, the Chief Operating Officer at St. Mary's Hospital. And it's interesting, Nick, that you should comment about relying on St. Mary's, particularly as you're getting on in years. I think the mission of St. Mary's, its dedication to the community of Waterbury, and its focus truly on patient care first is what it stands for. And tonight's support shown by so many people here, I think, is a verification of that.
And I'd be glad to come back into the hospital and do some more shows and show the community the type of support that you would support in the city with. And would you like to make some closing comments?
No, thank you.
She's got a closing smile.
He speaks well for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, we're back here again, ladies and gentlemen, at the Aqua Turf, and I'm here with John Martin.
How are you, Nick? Nice.
And your lovely wife, Peggy Martin.
Hi.
And you and I have met before in the courts. Anyway, John, tell the viewing audience a little bit about what's going on here this evening, and a little bit about yourself and your credentials.
Okay, first of all, my name is John Martin again. I'm here as a newly appointed board member of St. Mary's Hospital, and being that I was born at St. Mary's back about 44 years ago, when Sister Marguerite Waite asked if I would be more than happy to serve on the board, I acknowledged and said yes, I would.
And Peggy, what kind of support are you giving your husband?
Whatever support he needs. I'm there to support him.
Well, John, elaborate a little bit more about the activity here, what's going on, and some of your feelings about what's going on in the emergency room, or what type of thing that they might be adding in the emergency room.
Actually, the fund for tonight naturally is the emergency room. With renovations to the emergency room, when the Kinney Pavilion was built, and I'm not sure, but I think it was about 12 years ago, it needs to be refurbished, it needs to be upgraded. Today's technology, I think it's wise to have a fundraiser like this that's hopefully going to gain a lot of money for the hospital to be the best hospital it can be in the city of Waterbury.
Well, I'm concerned for the aging people. I'm starting to age myself. I just turned 60 years old. So, hey, I don't have 60 more years to go, and it's wonderful to know that I've got a good hospital to go to. I mean, you got two good hospitals in Waterbury, and it's nice to know that we're putting all these kind of dollars in to support, to help the people in Waterbury, and not only Waterbury, but surrounding towns. And I asked the fellow that was on before you about the response, the type of response that we're going to be getting, not only in the hospital, but with the ambulances and with the helicopters and the communication. Could you add to that?
Nick, I really can't, because I'm not that familiar with what's going on at the emergency room. I do know, however, that the hospital is staffed by the best professionals that we can actually have there. And it's just a case of trying to give people of Waterbury, Cheshire, Naugatuck, Southbury, Woodbury, wherever they come from into the Waterbury area, into St. Mary's Hospital, the best care that they can get when they need it.
Okay, very good. Would you like to tell the viewing audience a little bit about what your job or your position is in Waterbury?
I work in Waterbury at the courthouse. I work with jury duty. So I think that's where we've met before.
Yeah, and how long have you been in Waterbury?
At the courthouse, 20 years.
Do you live in Waterbury?
No, we live in Cheshire, but my main office, my central office is Waterbury.
Well, you know, this
every day.
This is what I find very interesting lately. It looks like a lot of doctors and lawyers and professional people are bringing their offices into Waterbury. So maybe this center of the universe that Governor Rowland is talking about, maybe it's going to be professional people. Maybe professional people are going to come into these buildings, and maybe the factory town that we used to have here is now going to turn into a town of professional people.
Waterbury is definitely coming back. There's no question. We had our bad years, but Waterbury is going to be a town to be reckoned with in years to come.
Okay, for the people that just tuned in, would you like to tell them your name once again and your credentials and some closing comments?
Sure. My name is John Martin once again, president of the Alderson Funeral Homes in Waterbury, a newly appointed board member of St. Mary's Hospital. My wife Peggy is here with me tonight to support St. Mary's Hospital.
Peggy, you want to make some closing comments?
Yes, I'm having a wonderful time. This is a great function, and I'm supported.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
We're back again, ladies and gentlemen, with three exciting guests here. Marty Morrison from the hospital. And Marty, what's your position at the hospital?
The Vice President of Finance at the hospital.
Very interesting position. You watch the cash flow. So you're going to watch these dollars here tonight, where they're going.
I've got it spent already.
You do? Well, maybe you could tell.
The hospital's success.
And we got former Mayor Mike Bergen here with us, too. Mike, how are you?
Always a pleasure. It's great to be here tonight with so many other people. Obviously, Marty and Lou are both happy. The event tonight has got to be their best event of the year and in recent years. It certainly shows Waterbury's support for St. Mary's and the hospital.
This is a great thing here tonight, too, because like I say, I'm aging myself, too. And I know the elderly people, with the thing that you're doing in this hospital here now, is definitely a good thing for the elderly people. It gives them a sense of security to have a hospital, two good hospitals in Waterbury. Now, you talk a little bit about the money and the finances. What are you going to do in the emergency room with some of these dollars?
We've got about 55,000 people a year that come through the St. Mary's emergency room. We've got to make it a little more open, a little more friendly to get people through, check them out, and get them out quickly. Make sure that they're ready. They're ready to take care of everybody that walks through the door. It's been 15 years since we put any money into the emergency room, and that's more than 250,000 people who have come through there. So.
Mike, as a former mayor of the city of Waterbury, what are some of the emergencies you've experienced in seeing people going into the hospitals that you can help out?
Well, everybody ends up visiting the hospital once in a while. Unfortunately, or fortunately for me, I had a session at the hospital this past year, and certainly I'm living proof to the fine work that the hospital does. But on a serious note, St. Mary's, being located in the center of the city, has been the core hospital for the city, and certainly has catered to the needs of all the population of the city. And because of its very location, has had more people walking into their emergency room, into their clinics, into the front door of the hospital, because people have access. They're within walking distance. And the hospital has met those needs over the past, 7,500 years. And certainly the changes in the hospital over the last 20 years that we've seen, and the changes that they're planning in the future, will help them meet the need of Waterburyans for the future.
Very good. How about you, sir?
Well, I've been associated with a hospital over 30 years.
Tell the viewing audience your name, who you are.
Louis Elizio from People's Bank, and I've been associated with a hospital for over 30 years and a board member, and I sat on the finance committee. And I got to tell you, I've never missed one of these events, and this is the greatest one ever. We have over 800 people here tonight. We had a little more than 500 last year, and that is a manifestation of growing support for the hospital and things that it does. And we have a very strong group of people out there who believe in what we're doing with all of our clinics and all of our outpatient endeavors. And Marty, who I have known for over 30 years, and his father, is a tremendous businessman, and a very large part of why we're successful at the hospital has been Marty's entrepreneurship, which has melded between the lay and the clergy, and we really have a strong thrust going to take care of both the economic and our pledge to take care of the people that can't afford medical care, and I think we have the best of both worlds, and I'm very happy to be standing here tonight and part of this whole story.
Marty, I'm going to ask you a question again on dollars. I know everything is important and every emergency is important, but what is one of the most important things that we should put the dollars toward?
You got to keep in mind that St. Mary's takes care of more than 80% of the clinic population in the city. 80%. So a lot of this money will go into refurbishing our clinics and reaching out to people that have nowhere else to access care. The two clinics that St. Mary's has on North Elm Street and on Union Street just take care of so many people who would just be without care if we didn't exist. So a lot of the money will go right there for primary care.
Back to Mayor Bergen. Mayor, in your experience as mayor in the city down through the years, what categories of people have you noticed or probably noticed that needed hospital care?
Everybody at one point or another is affected by the hospital. Nobody escapes that.
The point I'm getting at, Mike, is this. Are you geared more for middle class, elderly? Is there more emergencies? That's what I'm getting at.
Nick, I think you've got to look at the hospital. It's geared for all the population, both the elderly and the very young, the middle-aged, male, the female, those people that have problems. And certainly they have met the broad spectrum of the needs within the community. Marty made a very good point, is 80% of the clinic's usage is they take care of 80% of the population that needs a clinic. There aren't the same type of doctors or the availability of doctors today as there were 20 years ago. Medicine has changed. St. Mary's has changed to meet the changing times and the changing needs. As I pointed out at the onset, their very location is such that people from all sections of town can walk into the hospital. And this puts a tremendous strain on both their emergency rooms, but all their various clinics that they run, because the population has access to that hospital far more readily than the other hospital in town. And certainly the dollars raised here will go to meet that need.
And another thing, do you feel Waterbury is turning around, Mike?
Well, if you talked to me 20 years ago, and you did, I told you it was turning around 20 years ago, and it's turning around today. It's absolutely, we've seen a tremendous difference from the beginning of 1990 for the last 7-8 years. And I think going out in the future, you're going to see that Waterbury truly is the only urban area that really will regenerate itself and become the thriving, even more thriving than it is today.
Okay, we're going to give the viewing audience, once again, tell them who you are and make some closing comments and maybe some suggestions you can give them.
Well, I want to just kind of piggyback on what Mike said. I'm with People's Bank. My name is Louis Elizio, as I said before, and we just bought a leasing company, and we just located it in Waterbury because we feel that's a great place to be located for what's going on. We're basing the equipment leasing industry, and there's tremendous amount of manufacturing in the whole Naugatuck Valley, and we have tremendous opportunity we see in Waterbury, and we've linked it to our regional office there, and we've already had unbelievable acceptance of it, and we have an awful lot of things going on there now, and I think Mike is right that there's an awful lot of economic development going on in the whole Naugatuck Valley.
Very good.
I spent 20 years in business in Waterbury before I came with the hospital. Waterbury is on a rebound, and there's a lot more pride now, but there's only one reason for that. It's because of the work this guy did 3 years ago. The mall exists in Waterbury because of Mike Bergen.
Yeah, I'll get in on that.
Right. This guy is the reason for the rebound in Waterbury, not the people who were before him or the people who came after him, but because of Mike Bergen.
Now, Marty,
I'm sure, Mike, you're proud of that, and you want to make some closing comments.
I thank Marty for those kind words. But the big asset of Waterbury has been, is, and will always be the people of Waterbury. We fight more than anybody else. We criticize ourselves more than anybody else. But in the end, we accomplish more than any other city in the state.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dave DeRemo, right?
Dave DeRemo, right.
Dave DeRemo. Dave DeRemo. Okay. We're back here with Dave DeRemo and his wife, Judy. How you doing, folks? Well, tell the viewing audience a little bit about yourself.
Excuse me?
Tell the viewing audience a little bit about yourself. I know it's loud in the background.
Well, I'm lucky to be here with this lovely lady, my wife Judy, of some 30-plus years. I happen to be the Chief Executive Officer of St. Francis Hospital in Hartford, and we really are happy to be here because we feel privileged to be a partner with St. Mary's and this healthcare system that's evolving.
So what do you think some of the things that are going on here this evening, how are they going to help in the healthcare system? How are they going to help in the emergency room?
Well, I'll tell you, we were here last year, and there are about 50% more people here this year than there were last year. That's a very good sign. So all of the good things that are happening are only going to be doubled, and we're delighted that that's the case.
Is it all because we're getting older and we're not going to take our money with us and we got to leave it back for our kids and grandkids?
I think so.
You got it, Nick.
Maybe we're putting our dollars in the right spot.
It is important. I can't think of a better place to do it. And I think that's important, too. You know, the emergency units become increasingly important in terms of hospitals. You probably are not aware of this, but more of the admissions to the hospital are going through the emergency unit than ever before. Probably, I would guess, at St. Mary's, I know the same is true at St. Francis, about 40% of all of the people who end up in beds in the hospital come through the emergency unit first. So that's a good place to put the dollars.
Okay, so that's your advice and your opinion there. Now, how do you feel?
Well, I have to agree with him. He's the expert on that. But I feel this is a great event from the fun standpoint.
And what do you do to support the expert?
I take care of his family and his home and make sure he gets good meals.
You want to tell us a little bit about your lovely family? What do you got, 2 kids, 2 boys, girls?
4, actually, and we've got 6 grandchildren. We have an older daughter. She's 31. She has 5 children. She's a lawyer in Cleveland. We have a son who's 27. He just had his first baby girl, and we were down there in Cincinnati just last weekend at her baptism, Maggie. And we have a son who we left with our other son. He's 24, and he is doing the Urban Peace Corps thing with Father Barry in Hartford. He's the coordinator for all of the meals programs at the Immaculate Conception Shelter. So we get a lot of people in humanities and healthcare, and we have a 12-year-old that he's watching at home. And he's probably talking about golf. He just came off the golf course tonight. So.
Okay, so for the viewing audience who just tuned in, you want to tell them who you are and what your position is here.
I'm Dave, and this is Judy Duramo from Hartford, and we're delighted to be here with Sister Marguerite Waite. This is a wonderful evening, and it's for a good cause.
Great evening. We're enjoying every minute of it.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Sorry to put you back.
No
on.
problem.
Thank you.
How are you, young man?
We're back once again, ladies and gentlemen, for about our 30th interview here this evening. I don't know what we're running out of tape. I have Joe Gugliotti and his wife.
Kathy.
Oh, this is great. Thanks, Nick. It's great to be here.
Joe, tell the viewing audience a little bit about what's going on here, plus a little bit about yourself and your wife.
Oh, I work at St. Mary's Hospital. I market to the business community for St. Mary's Hospital, and this is a great outpouring of the community. We have, I guess you heard, over 850 people here, and it's just great to be part of this excitement. Everyone's really getting together and having a great time. This is wonderful.
I think I'm going to be here till 3 o'clock in the morning interviewing people. They're standing in line. And this is great because I love meeting people, and I love knowing what you're going to bring back to Waterbury. Because I keep saying, I'm aging. I'm starting into the aging society. Well, you know.
You're a youngster.
Well, at least I care about the aging right now anyway. I don't know if I'll make it to my mom and dad's age. My dad's 90, my mom's 85. But I'll tell you one thing. This is a great community to be in, and I don't care what ethnic background you are. It's very important that we start pulling together. And the hospital is not the place to start pulling together. But it's great that we have an emergency room that we're going to be pulling together. Now, what are some of the things? I've asked everybody else just about the same question. What are some of the things that you think are important in an emergency room?
Well, the most important thing that we've just added on was this emergency decision unit, which is really fantastic for the community. And basically, it's a 24-hour unit. And Dr. Peter Jacoby will probably be here, and he's the director of the ED. And that people can receive the care that they need, and they can maybe be admitted only for up to 24 hours, and maybe discharged home if they don't need to be in overnight in the hospital. And that's the really beauty of it, that people can receive the care that they need from the hospital when they need it. So this is a great outpouring of the community to be here.
You say you're in the marketing aspect, and you wanted to say something. Sorry.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you say you're in the marketing aspect of it. So, what's the strong point in marketing?
Well, as everyone really knows now, the hospitals have really changed their focus. Is that we're really trying to cater to the community's needs. So my role is going out to the businesses and the community, find out what their needs are, what their employees and their family needs are, and cater to the businesses and take care of their needs.
Okay, looking at Waterbury, our community, what would you say? Do we have more elderly, more younger, more older? What categories? I know you have to cater to all categories for the hospital, but what do you find one category more important than the other that you have to cater to? Because I know elderly people are afraid to come into a hospital if they have a heart attack. And not only because they come into the hospital, they're worried about their insurance. People are worried about their insurance out in the street there, and they might be dying on the road. What can you do for them people without insurance?
Well, our mission statement, and Sister Margaret Wade will be first one to kind of to talk about this, is we care for anyone in the community regardless of their insurance. That's our mission statement. That's what we do. My focus is really take care of the business community. So that means the workforce, your employees that they're, take care of any needs that they may have as far as workers' compensation in the event they do get hurt on the job, take care of the wellness program. Now the focus in healthcare is to keep people well, and that's what we're meaning to do, to prevent illness so they won't come to the hospital. So our goal is to make them healthy, and that's what we're trying to do.
And again, another question, some of the categories that might be more prioritized than the other. Now, some people have mentioned heart attacks, some people have mentioned asthma, some people have mentioned gunshot wounds. And I understand that you're breaking up down there so that you can kind of take in 4 or 5 different types of emergencies at one time. Can you explore on that a little bit?
what we're doing now is the whole field of medicine is changing so drastically. We're trying to take care acutely of people so that they don't have to stay in the hospital, and then we can discharge them with home care maybe, so they can really be more comfortable in their own home. So we take care of the people as soon as they come in, as quickly as we can, and give them only the services they needed so they can be discharged and be back in their home as soon as possible. That's what the whole goal is.
Very good. So for the people that just tuned in, would you please tell them who you are once again and what your position is at the hospital, and you and your lovely wife?
I'm Joe Gugliotti, Nick, and I'm marketing for the business community at St. Mary's Hospital, marketing their occupational health services, any kind of services that business may need for their employees. And I really appreciate the opportunity to be interviewed by you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, you want to make some closing comments? Of course you do. You're supporting your husband. What do you feed him? You could poison him any time if he get.
What do I feed him?
What? Yeah. What's his favorite food?
Pasta.
Pasta, huh? What a paisan.
That's right.
Pasta and wine.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless you both. Back again with my good friend Michael Giargero. How you doing, Mike?
Nick, I have to say, is there an event you don't go to? I know I go to a number of them, but I think you go to more than I do.
Well, nobody knows this, but I do have a brother. I have 2 or 3 other people in Waterbury that look like me. Just kidding.
Of course, you know, I'm against cloning, but I think if we can clone ourselves, we'll be in good shape.
Mike, tell the viewing audience a little bit about what you think is going on here this evening and what it's going to do for Waterbury.
You know, it's such a spectacular evening. I remember the first year we've had this event. I was here, and then last year I was here, and then of course I'm here again this year. And every year it's gotten bigger, brighter, more spectacular than ever. And of course, the Aqua Turf does a spectacular job. We're really here to. This is one of these events that are part of the fabric of Greater Waterbury, and we're here trying to raise money to provide for the needed emergency care to take care of all the citizens of Greater Waterbury, not just Waterbury, the whole region. Our 2 hospitals, both St. Mary's and Waterbury, do excellent care, and God knows, you know, when you need them. And I've had occasion, you know, my mother has been sick. Thank God she's fine now. And seeing the emergency room people, the ambulance people kick into gear, there's nothing more spectacular to see.
Well, I'm going to tell you something right now, Mike. You and I have been together a long time. You've helped me out on a lot of occasions, and you're really a great guy in this town. And I'll tell you, it's nice to stay in Waterbury and have people in the community like yourself to support things like this, Mike. Maybe you can encourage the viewing audience some of the things we can do to pull together to help St. Mary's Hospital, to help the community, and work together in the city.
Well, you know, I think the most important thing for everybody in the viewing audience is to just try to be positive. I know there's a lot to criticize, and sometimes things should be criticized. But also, let's talk about a lot of the positive things that are going on in our city, and in our region. There are so many things to be happy with. 7 Angels, the Brass Mall. Nick, just watch your show. I mean, every week there's and it doesn't cost a lot of money. Tons of free events going on. And as the summer and spring come forward, we're going to be having the St. Patrick's Day Parade. Come out, show your support. Easter parades, and I can go on and on. And that's how a community. I know Waterbury has tremendous spirit, and just keep that going.
Well, you know, people wonder why I'm out there with the cameras, this, that, and everything else. I'm not out there for any political gain or any personal gain or whatever. I want to be a television talk show host, something I've never done in my life. I've done this 4 years ago. A retiree from Northeast Utilities. You told me I had the ability to do something, Mike, and I didn't know what it was. And now this is very, very important to me to use television as a power. I've interviewed probably since January or been to events with over maybe 7,000 or 8,000 people so far since January. And I've probably done about maybe 100, 150 interviews since January. And, you know, out of all them interviews, Mike, when people come up to this camera, they are people. I've interviewed the governor, the mayor, the lawyers. To me, when you come up to this camera, we're both equal. We're both wearing a suit on, and we're both God-loving people. And this is what it's got to be all about.
You're absolutely right, Nick. I saw your coverage of the inaugural ball, and I was so happy to see you interviewing Democrats, Republicans, Mayor Giordano's inaugural ball, of which I was in attendance. I couldn't get over to your camera. I apologize. There was just so many people pulling at you at the same time. But, you know, I want to tell your audience, and maybe this will resound. I want to name Nick Coscia the ambassador of goodwill for the city of Waterbury. I declare that in my authority as state representative.
Thanks a lot, Mike. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Nick.
You know, I never looked for anything, but that was a great compliment. I appreciate it. Now, for the people that just tuned in that don't know you, because this particular film is going to go all over the state. It's not just going to be in Waterbury, because people want copies of this all over the state. Maybe you can tell the viewing audience once again who you are, what you represent in the state, and also what you represent in Waterbury, and some of the good things you do.
Well, my name is Michael Jarjura, and I represent the 74th Assembly District, representing the city of Waterbury with my Democratic and Republican colleagues from the city. We work with the governor and the members of the General Assembly. And on occasion, my brothers will let me come down to the warehouse, and my other hat is we're in the fruit and produce distribution business, and I'm an attorney by law by training.
Very good, Mike. And you know I'm going to be bird-dogging you guys on healthcare issues.
Anytime, Nick.
Thank you.
Look forward to it. Thank you for having me.
We're back again, ladies and gentlemen, with Dr. Mark Albini.
Good evening.
How you doing? And Dr. Mark Perazella.
Good evening. How you doing? Good.
Tell the viewing audience a little bit about yourselves and what your purpose is this evening, doctors.
Well, I'm the staff at St. Mary's Hospital, and we're here for a fine evening for a good cause.
And actually, there's a lot of people here for this good cause this evening. So what's some of the input that you would like to give to the viewing audience out there that you can share with them?
All I like to say is that I'm proud to be associated with an institution that really cares about people, and then over the past few years has made some great strides in expanding its services to the community.
So you're into eye care at the hospital?
No, I'm into delivering babies.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed that. Well, you need a good set of eyes to see them. I missed that a little bit, but hey, you still need a good pair of eyes. Exactly. So anyway, do you find with this new emergency room help in the St. Mary's Hospital is going to make your job a little easier?
Oh, definitely. They have just put in an observation unit, which will be integral to everyone's job, helping a job be much easier.
Very good. Let's go to you a little bit, Doctor.
Okay. Well, basically, I am here tonight visiting from Yale New Haven Hospital. I'm an assistant professor of medicine. I'm a kidney specialist. And basically, I received my residency training at St. Mary's Hospital, and that's why I've returned tonight to see everyone and to enjoy in the festivities tonight and to help a good cause.
Kidney specialist, that's very interesting because people do end up in an emergency room with kidney stones or anything else. And I remember when I first had my little kidney attack, they gave me a six-pack of beer and I got rid of it.
That sometimes works. Absolutely, yes. Unfortunately, many of our patients do end up in the emergency room, but through good care, they often do well and are able to go home or have a short stay in the hospital. So it's real important to have a good functioning emergency staff like St. Mary's has, and this is a real important event tonight.
You got some other thoughts you want to add, Doctor?
No, I'm just proud to be associated with an institution. I'm having a great time tonight.
What types of emergencies do they have for babies? For example, you know, I know that when a mother has a baby and they have to come into the hospital, what is the most important thing that you look at a mother delivering a baby, or they have to have a baby emergency and ambulance coming into the hospital? What do you look for?
Well, there's a couple situations that can be life-threatening, things such as ectopic pregnancies, which are pregnancies that are, for example, in the fallopian tube. Those are emergencies, and sometimes there could be some bleeding in pregnancy that could be very severe and very acute, very quick onset, and that's when the emergency department is also helpful.
So as the ambulance is on the way to the hospital, or that phone call comes into the hospital, what is your relationship or your communication with the hospital, with the ambulance, and the emergency room?
Well, what happens is there's always a doctor from our department on call for any patients who don't have a physician, for example, and we're the ones who will respond to any emergencies that the emergency room staff may have.
So what else would you like to add at this evening? What's going on here this evening?
Oh, nothing else. I'm just having a good time this evening.
Doctor, getting back to you about the kidney emergencies. What are some of the things you look for like if somebody has a kidney attack or something, and you might be looking for an emergency room help?
Well, oftentimes patients with kidney disease can run into trouble with other organs such as their heart, brain, and so on. So you need to have someone who's ready to deal with a heart attack, congestive heart failure, and other problems, and prompt treatment of these problems in the emergency room is essential for our patients with kidney failure. And as I said, St. Mary's has done a great job with that.
Okay, for the viewing audience who just tuned in, once again, I'd like to have the both of you identify yourself and let them know what your sharing is here this evening and some of the suggestions you might make to them.
I'm Dr. Mark Albini, obstetrician gynecologist on staff at St. Mary's Hospital.
Okay.
I'm Dr. Mark Parazella, on staff at Yale University, visiting tonight and seeing lots of old friends.
Thank you very much, doctors.
Have a good evening. Take care. Thank you.
We're back again, ladies and gentlemen, at the Aqua Turf with Fran Donnarumma
Good evening. How are you tonight?
and Kathy.
Good evening.
How are you? Tell the viewing audience a little bit what you're doing here this evening, what you feel about the event, and what this is going to do for St. Mary's Hospital.
Well, I'm here and I'm happy to run into Kathy, whom I knew from grammar school. But I'm here supporting the hospital because, like me, all three of my young kids were born at St. Mary's, and we've relied on it for years, and we look forward to supporting it for many, many years to come.
And what's your position? What's your profession?
I'm a lawyer. I practice in Waterbury in the New Haven area, so I get to meet people all the time. And the hospital is just one of those solid things that's always around and always going to be here. We identify Waterbury with St. Mary's.
You know what I noticed here tonight? There's an awful lot of professionals here, doctors, lawyers, mayors. It seems to me like Waterbury is going to be turning into a professional town. Maybe it is the crossroads of the universe. Maybe it's gone from a factory town to a shirt and tie town and a tuxedo town. What do you think?
I'm not quite sure about that, but what I can tell you is this room is filled with many families. You've got brothers and sisters and first and second generation of people that have volunteered for St. Mary's Hospital that continue to be involved, whether they worked on this event or they're attending this event and they've brought their checkbook to help us make it a big success.
And what is your position? What are some of the things you do? What's your profession?
I'm the president of a company called Jackie Carroll Staffing. We're a staffing company, and we have 4 locations here in Connecticut. Our CEO, Jackie Carroll, as you know, is the chairman of this event, and she is here, and she has been working full-time for the past 2 months on this event while her management team has been running the company. And I've been working on getting some of these fabulous gifts this evening that are going to be auctioned off.
Very good. So what's some of the most important things that might come to either one of your minds that are going to help us out in the emergency room? I'm sure you've got maybe teenage kids, or you've probably got grandkids, or you've probably got elderly parents, or you're even thinking of yourself. So maybe something special comes to your mind where that emergency room can help.
Well, I'll tell you, our youngest child has been ill and is doing well now, but with leukemia. And though he's treated in another hospital, on a couple of occasions we've had to bring him to the emergency room. And whether it's Dr. Jacoby or others at the St. Mary's emergency room, the way they can handle pediatrics is really special. And that's part of the real caring touch that the hospital does have that we've enjoyed.
Very good. So maybe you can tell the viewing audience a little bit, once again, who you are, identify yourselves, and some of the things that you feel that we can help improve in the city so that we don't have to end up in the hospital. Just some of your own personal opinion.
Well, that's a tough one. I'll tell you, that's part of what a progressive hospital like this does. I mean, the advertising that they do with preventive care, the services that they offer, the seminars they offer for parents to be. I went to classes for prenatal care and childbirthing and all, and that kind of preventive stuff, I think, goes a long way, whether you're a lawyer or you're directing a personnel agency or you're an unemployed person in town. Just looking at the public dissemination of information that they do very well, I think is very helpful to us all.
You answered that question very good. See, preventative. How about you?
Oh, there's one thing that I'd like to add, although Frandy spoke quite beautifully, is that St. Mary's mission, everybody who walks into the hospital is treated without regard to their ability to pay. And St. Mary's Hospital here in Waterbury pretty much takes care of a tremendous amount of the transient population in this community and offers medical care to people who don't have the ability to pay.
Tell me when. Are we on? Hi, good evening, folks. I'm Linda Wibby here with Steve Soma, Senator, and Nick Cassius is taking a well-deserved rest, so I'm here to ask Steve, what are your comments on the evening?
Can I just be honest and say that you're a lot prettier than Nick? Great night. 850 people here tonight. Obviously, wide and broad community support for the hospital and everything that they do, so I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here with you.
Thank you, Steve. And at this point, it's kind of funny to see everybody here dressed up once again for another wonderful event for Waterbury. What are you wearing tonight, Steve?
I'm wearing a tuxedo, and you're wearing a beautiful gown, and we're getting ready to dance, aren't we?
soon we will be going out there and dancing and enjoying the evening. But also, do you have any comments about the great work that St. Mary's Hospital has been doing for the community?
Oh, it's great. I mean, this is obviously a major fundraising event. The hospital is a community hospital, reaches out to every aspect of the community. Sister Marguerite and all of the staff and the volunteers. It's really an effort that everyone gets involved in. I'm just happy to be here tonight and to support in a small way, but each and every day the volunteers, the staff, the hospital administration works so hard to serve the community. So I'm just happy to be sharing it tonight.
Well, thank you, Steve. Thank you for being here with us tonight, and have a good evening. Thank you.
I'm Karen Pollard.
And what is your connection with St. Mary's event tonight?
St. Mary's Hospital is our neighbor. I'm with General Growth Properties, and I'm the general manager of Rats Mill Center.
All right, so you're doing the great work for bringing us that wonderful mall in Waterbury.
Yes, well, I'm one of the people involved, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you working out any potential growth for the city of Waterbury with respect to St. Mary's Hospital?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Are you working on any development plans with St. Mary's Hospital?
At this point, we're not involved with development, but we are very close neighbors, the fact that they're adjacent site, and so we are doing a number of events together. St. Mary's has a kiosk at our center. It's interactive, computerized, giving information and services on the hospital in the mall, and also they utilize our community room, and at that they do various special events with the hospital and with our patrons of the mall.
Well, great. That's great cooperation within the city of Waterbury. Welcome to Waterbury, and thank you for your participation. Thank you. Good luck to General Growth.
Thank you.
Hi. Once again, I grabbed another lady here at the St. Mary's Gala.
Hi. How are you, Linda? Hi. My name is Terry Masters. I'm from Wilkett, and I'm here with my...
Hi, I'm Mia Matthews now. 5 months with this one.
And I understand, Bob, that you've graciously donated a wonderful gift that we're hoping people bid in great amounts to.
Yeah, Terry promised she'd bid on it. So,
other than Terry, can you describe for us the gift that's up for auction tonight?
it's a little house on Nantucket, a little cottage by the sea, and
A cottage by the sea. How many rooms?
it's 9 bedrooms, 9,000 feet, nice little house. Terry and Carmen are going to bid on it, though. They promised me, so it's on.
How much do you expect to get for that gift?
I have no clue what people will bid here for the gift.
I also understand that with that gift is also airfare.
No, we're gonna fly him in the plane. Yeah.
And I see Carmen Vacalabre, one of the great entrepreneurs of the city of Waterbury, has joined us.
Hi. Who are you talking about?
We're talking about your support for Waterbury St. Mary's Hospital.
Oh, well, we're just absolutely delighted to be here. Such a wonderful event.
Do you know my way, Carmen?
My way?
My way?
You do the interview.
Carmen, why don't you tell us about your contribution to St. Mary's Hospital tonight?
My contribution to St. Mary's Hospital. Dinner for 4 at Carmen Anthony Steakhouse with the limo ride.
I'm sorry, Carmen, where?
Carmen Anthony Steakhouse in Waterbury, Connecticut.
Oh, wait. I thought you opened up a new restaurant, I heard.
No, I can't say that right now. It's not officially official, But we're working on some other deals. We do have several restaurants, and we're going to add one more in this very near future.
Well, that's good. Anyone bidding on that gift tonight should bid, I don't know, $200-300 for dinner at 4 at Carmen Anthony's. Certainly worth it. $1,000, Bob?
Bids on the house. I'm bidding $1,000.
I'm bidding $500 on the house. He's bidding $1,000 on the
Well, see, this is just some of the community support that we have for St. Mary's Hospital tonight, and the gracious donations of both Bob Matthews and Carmen Vacalabre. Bob, you're home on the island. Your wife and I'm sorry, Mia, I don't mean to exclude you. Mia's contribution, I'm sure, is extremely high. Did you decorate the house, Mia?
Oh, slave, my fingers to the bone.
And could you describe the home in Nantucket that's up for auction tonight?
It's nice. I like
very
it.
Nice.
No, it's a beautiful home. It has a elegant but yet a kind of country cottage type of theme, and yet it's casual, elegant, and we hope that people feel very comfortable there as well as enjoy the beauty.
Well, I know I'm going out to bid on it right now. And I'm going to go bid on Carmen Bacalabri's wonderful donation from Carmen Anthony's for a greatest steakhouse in this Connecticut. Thank you. And I have to say hi to my good friend Linda Bozier, who also works for Bob Matthews. Ta-da! Hi, Linda! All right, thank you guys for your support. Thank you. Well, have a good evening. Linda Wibby, I'm here. We have the great pleasure of interviewing Jim Smith.
How are you, Linda?
Please introduce yourself and your contribution to this wonderful event tonight.
Well, my name is Jim Smith, and I'm looking for my wife, Kathy, because I was hoping she would be here with me. It's really not my contribution, it's the hospital's contribution to the community, which we're celebrating here tonight. And all of our supporters are contributing to the improvements to our emergency room. It's really, really fantastic. And I don't know what the estimates are of whether we're going to raise $200,000 or $300,000 tonight, but it's absolutely extraordinarily successful, and we're just pleased to be a part of it.
And Jim is gracious enough and not to state, although I'm sure most of the viewers at home know, that he is Webster Bank.
Well, I am part of Webster Bank, and Webster Bank is very pleased to participate in sponsoring various aspects of tonight's huge fundraiser and celebration among the St. Mary's family. It's really fantastic to have, I guess, 800 people or more, and so much outpouring of love and support for the hospital and its programs.
And Webster Bank is a corporate sponsor of tonight's event?
Yes, we are, and Kathy participated last year as one of the co-chairs with Dr. Mary Beth Aquavia, and we're just so pleased to see this grow bigger and better every year. And Jackie Carroll in particular has been so outstanding and given of herself for months in preparation for tonight's event.
I haven't had the occasion to interview with Jackie Carroll, but I know that she was a huge participant in tonight's events and the success of tonight. But looking around here tonight, see there's a lot more people than last year. Is this a growing event?
Every year it's grown by 30-40%. I think last year we had about 500 or 600 people. This year it's 800 people, and I understand next year I guess we'll have 1,000 or more.
We'll have to take over the Aqua Turf.
Absolutely.
All right, well, Jim, thank you, and thank you for Webster Bank's support for St. Mary's Hospital.
Linda, thank you, and for your support of St. Mary's. Nice to see you.
And as we continue to go on our interviews, we see a member of the Chamber of Waterbury, City of Waterbury Chamber of Commerce.
Good evening, Linda. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good. Actually, my name is DJ Murphy. I was the membership director with the Chamber of Commerce, and now, actually starting Monday, I'll be going to work for Sir Speedy Printing. So I'll be a strong volunteer with the Chamber. I'm having a great time tonight. It's a testament to Jackie Carroll's hard work and the wonderful people at St. Mary's Hospital.
And is the Chamber of Commerce also a supporter of tonight's event?
There are many people. Mike is here, the president, as well as a number of the staff people.
Well, maybe we could grab Mike and interview him as well. But, DJ, it's always a pleasure to see you, and thank you for Waterbury Chamber of Commerce support for this event tonight.
Thank you very much, Linda.
Thank you, and we'll continue our interviews in a moment.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back here at the Aqua Turf, and we got Walter and Sylvia Biscardi. How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Tell us, the viewing audience, a little bit about what you think is going on here this evening. What's your participation, and what do you do for a living?
I'm a motivational speaker. I have my own business, Biscardi Enterprises. I speak for corporations and associations. And my wife Sylvia and I are co-chairpersons for the program tonight. And it was our job to go out and solicit for the ads and donations to put the program together.
Well, by the looks of it, you've certainly done a beautiful job.
It was very successful, and we had a target of around 75,000. I think we're up to 105 just for the program alone. So.
And your beautiful wife would like to say something here, too.
Certainly. I'm the corporate sales manager for Jackie Carroll Staffing, and of course Jackie Carroll has done a wonderful job with this event this evening. We're very proud of her and the work that she's done.
What are some of the things that run through your mind? I mean, I ask a lot of people the same question this evening. This is an event tonight for emergency rooms and everything else. What are some of the things that may run through either one of your minds that might be beneficial that this is being that's being done here for emergency rooms? You might have had a loved one or somebody that might have had to been rushed to a hospital, and maybe we're looking for certain improvements there. Maybe you can share with the viewing audience.
Well, I've got to admit, I did lose a wife 10 years ago to cancer and had to rush her to some trauma centers in the hospital. and they were just wonderful, but I know there's a lot more that could be used, and hopefully what we're doing tonight will help that. And so, yes, I had a very personal experience of that. Of course, 6 years ago, I met this beautiful woman and remarried, and even though I lost a wife 10 years ago, but the hospitals serve everyone. It's no race, color, cost, you know, whether the rich, poor, serves everyone. And if we can improve that to make it more welcome to more people and make it more of a home. I've been in some emergency rooms where it's absolute panic. And hopefully if we can make the St. Mary's one a little more comfortable so people will feel welcome. And that's what we want. We want people to feel welcome to hospitals. I know what I went through in a trauma center, I was felt welcome.
It's awfully nice to share your personal experiences with the viewing audience, too, because there's nothing more personal than a personal experience. And when it hits home and you say, well, where am I going to go? And like myself, as I'm starting to age, I want to stay closer to places where I have good hospitals and close to city limits. Would you like to add a little more to this?
No, I agree with my husband also. I come from a medical background, and I think many people see only an emergency room. So, you know, that's their first impression of a hospital. So they want to be treated well and taken care of, you know, when they have their own emergency. So I think they always need to improve and keep up with the latest technology. So I'm really pleased that we're able to support this wonderful hospital.
Thank you very much. Would you like to make some closing comments?
Well, I know Sylvia's dad was a surgeon, and so she does come from a medical background. And I think there's nothing more people can do than give of their time to help others, and that's what we're trying to do here tonight.
Yes, and I can feel the spirit here, and I can feel the happiness among the people. The dollars are not going to bring people back. All the dollars are going to do is help improve the people that are on their way into the hospital that might save that one life.
It's true. Well, we've got to go help with the bids now.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, who we got here, ladies and gentlemen? This is our back up. This is our 40th interview here tonight out of 900 people. I mean, I can't believe that I've done all these interviews here tonight. Could you tell the viewing audience who you are and what you're doing here this evening?
My name is Kurt Myers, and I am the Director of Pediatric Emergency Medicine for St. Mary's, and this is my wife, Helene.
How are you?
Good, thank you. I'm enjoying the evening.
Very good. Tell us a little bit about the pediatrics ward, and tell us a little bit about how the emergency room is going to help you out.
Well, we're all part of the emergency department. In pediatrics, we're part of the main emergency department. So everything we generate here tonight goes in directly toward our own program, which will help not only the adults in the city, but also the kids.
I'm sure the city of Waterbury is going to feel very comfortable tonight after they see all these people that came up into these interviews and did not realize the professional people that we have in this town, in this hospital.
Oh, I know. There's a lot of good quality people that work in the hospital and also in the emergency department. And certainly it's growing, and you know, the opening of our new clinical decision unit is going to be well publicized in the next couple months too.
What would you like to share with the viewing audience? For example, I've asked some questions on when there's a wife coming into the hospital or with a baby or something else. How would you get ready for a patient coming into the hospital with the communication between the ambulance, the hospital, the patient, and their loved ones?
Well, that's the nice thing about St. Mary's as opposed to where I worked before. St. Mary's has a very nice control and communication system with the ambulance system in the city, so that you can meet with one ambulance company and virtually hit 95% of the people that bring the kids and the parents into the hospital. So the communication system is there, and it's instantaneous. We've worked out very nice relationships with them, and I think that when they come into the emergency department, we're always ready for that because the communication's there from the ambulance companies.
Would you like to add?
Well, I think they've worked very hard, and I think they have a good program going, and I think this will add more funds so that they'll be able to do more in the future.
Okay, would you like to make some closing comments to the viewing audience and some suggestions you might make on how they can take care of themselves or how this emergency room is going to help them out?
Well, I know one of the things I'd like to just put a plug in for is the fact that we do have a pediatric emergency department at St. Mary's, which is unique to the Waterbury area. No one around here has that. And we have pediatricians and people trained in pediatric emergency medicine until midnight every night in the emergency department, ready to take care of the kids in the city of Waterbury.
So once again, tell the viewing audience who you are for the people that just tuned in.
And I am Kurt Myers. I'm the Director of Pediatric Emergency Medicine for St. Mary's.
I'm Helene Myers. I'm Kurt's wife, and I'm very proud of their whole program that they've done and how they're going towards the future.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, we're back again, ladies and gentlemen, in this crowded place down the Aqua Turf. We have here with us Steve Holland.
That's correct.
And your wife, Joanne.
Joanne. That's right.
Steve, tell the viewing audience a little bit about what your participation is here this evening and what your qualifications are.
Well, I've been working in the emergency department at St. Mary's for the past 10 years, and this occasion tonight, which is being sponsored obviously by the hospital, and the proceeds to go for the emergency department renovation, I can't speak enough for. Emergency department that we've had at St. Mary's now is just about there, I think it's 1 year longer than I've been there, and you know, we've maintained it as good as possible. But clearly, time goes on, and you need more facilities, you need more room, the improvements go on in the technology, and you have to make those changes. So the proceeds going to allow for that renovation, I can't speak enough for.
And what would you like to add?
Oh, I think this is a great occasion, a lot of turnout, and a lot of people are very supportive of the emergency department.
Kind of turned the lights on down us there a little bit, folks, but at least the audience will get the message right now. I can't get over there to put the lights back on because they got stuff going on. But make some closing comments, what you would like to tell the viewing audience of some of the things that you would see that you like in the hospital and what's going on.
Well, I think that the people of Waterbury and the surrounding community should support their community hospitals. I think St. Mary's really exemplifies that, and I'm very proud of working in the emergency department, and I think that people should take a lot of comfort in knowing that the emergency department can fulfill just about all their needs, and when they need them, that we'll be there.
And once again, tell the viewing audience who you are and what your credentials are, and some closing comments.
Sure. I'm Steve Holland. I'm the Associate Director in the Emergency Department, brought up in Waterbury, and I'm still here 42 years later.
And I'm Joanne Holland. I'm also an employee of the hospital, and I think it's a great thing that they're doing tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're back here with Rachel Petiti. Rachel, what do you do in the hospital?
I'm the Director of Behavioral Health at St. Mary's.
Well, for people that don't know what behavioral health is, please give the viewing audience a little idea of what we're talking about.
Behavioral health is an all-encompassing term that means psychiatry and substance abuse services. It's a total picture of wellness, really, psychiatric and mental health, and that's what we do. A lot of people actually don't know about all the services we provide at St. Mary's. We have a full continuum of care, from inpatient to outpatient, partial hospital. Joseph Center, which has a name recognition in Waterbury as being one of the finest ambulatory detoxes services. And the list goes on and on. We're looking to develop some new services in the future.
You know, all this time I've lived in Waterbury, I have never realized, and this is the truth, how many things that are going on in that hospital and how many professional people you got going on in that hospital. And in tonight's event for this emergency room activity, in your opinion, what do you think one of the most important things, or one of the things that's going to be contributed most to the emergency room?
Sure, that's easy, actually. A lot of services actually happen in the emergency department that most people don't know about. We actually have a great deal of patients that utilize those services, and it's important that a hospital have emergency services that can meet the needs of patients quickly, efficiently, and disposition patients on to another level of care.
It's actually becoming like the other front door of many hospitals today, and we interface with them regularly. And I think it's very important that emergency hospital medicine is given a lot of attention, because a great deal of services happen there.
You know, I got to respect St. Mary's Hospital on one thing. My son was stricken with Guillain-Barré about 15 years ago, and he was allowed the right to do what he wanted to do because of his religious beliefs and everything else. And even though that was a Catholic hospital and my son was a Jehovah's Witness, he called his minister and everything, and the hospital showed his respect of what he wanted to do at that particular time. And I will never forget that. In other words, what I'm saying, the hospital was very bipartisan at the time in that situation. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit on situations like that.
Sure. Well, I think St. Mary's is certainly a Catholic hospital and has a mission to serve those who need care. But I think the way they go about delivering services is in a very open, sort of all-inclusive way. I don't think there's no discrimination whether or not people are Catholic or not. Certainly, a good deal of management is not. And I think that it's a very welcomed subject at St. Mary's. Spirituality is very important, yet your particular spirituality, it's not as significant, and that everyone can be served with the same care.
They certainly got some good-looking management leaders, too. Hang on, I just want to ask you one other question. In behavior, in the profession that you're in, what have you noticed the most? What type of behavior have you noticed the most that you had to control?
Well, I'll tell you, there's a tremendous problem with substance abuse still amongst kids, amongst older people, amongst adults, and I think we're addressing that as we speak, really, because I think a lot of secondary problems happen because of addiction, and I think that's something we want to continue to focus on. For example, trauma, a lot of the trauma that they see